Alright, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be explaining how to customize and install my hat and uniform givers. I know lots of people have been asking for this, so I thought I'd get it done especially tonight. Okay, so first things first, you're going to need to get the model into your game. My model is called the British Army Uniform Giver. If you don't have it already, you should just be able to get it from the toolbox. Otherwise, you can go into my profile and download it from there. So I'm going to click on this. Just wait for that to load. There we go. So now we need to go and put this in replicated storage. Make sure it's ungrouped because otherwise it won't work properly. This here, we need to ungroup that. There we go. Now you have the number 1, number 2, number 8 and number 13 uniforms of the army. They'll all come with hats. These two here are proximity prompt triggered. So what happens is when you walk up to it, there's a part called give a part, which triggers this this function here. I won't go into that too much. I'll only say that when you are customizing it, you need to change this value here to the group ID of your army, and so you can do that by going onto this page here, the group page, and it's this number here. So you copy that, go here, and then put it. If you can't do this without a group for this giver, you could, but it would only give you one uniform. You can do it with the hat, and I'll explain how to do that now. So all of these run on very similar system. These two only give hats from the GUI. These three give hats and uniforms from the GUI. It works exactly the same though. So let's pull this over here. And let's get into the customizing part. This is all set up, by the way, that's all you have to do. Right, so this script here is the opening script, we don't need that. Here we go. So this here, button script, no, that's fine as well. Where is it? Reg frame. Okay, so this script here is called while script, and you won't be able to click on any of the buttons unless you do something to this. So if you want it to be so that there's no group locking, if you don't have to be in a group to click on the buttons, then all you need to do is delete this script. Very simple. If you want to make it so that you have to be in a group to use the separate buttons, what you need to do is go to this while script here, and you find this table, and inside of this is basically it checks. It's called rank check, so it checks you're the right rank in the group. So there are three values. There's the ID, the rank ID, and the UI name. UI name is the name of the button, right? So this value here, you go into your group. If you have regiments, then you do this. If you don't have regiments, delete the while script. So let's use the Royal Marines as an example, or that's the Parachute Regiment. Let's use the Parachute Regiment as an example. So we're going to select the group ID, copy and paste, copy it even, and then you're going to select this number, paste it into there. This number here isn't important unless you're doing something that involves being an officer, which isn't this part. And then here is the name of the UI. You shouldn't need to change this. If you want to, all you need to do is make this, let's call it, I don't know, Parachute Regiment. And then you go into the button, change the name to Parachute Regiment, like that. Those two values, this one here and this one here, need to be the same, otherwise it won't work. Okay, para. Okay, I've got that. Right now, so this frame here, when you click on these buttons, it'll take you through to any of these frames, right? So let's carry on using the Parachute Regiment for an example. So why don't I just drop this into Starter GUI so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, I know. When you view stuff in the Starter GUI, you have to put it inside a screen. So here it is. And what will happen basically is if you click back, it'll take you back to the regiment frame. If you click close, it'll destroy the frame. If you click para, then it'll give you the low rank hat. If you click officer, it'll give you the officer hat. Okay, nice and simple. If you want to remove any of these regiments, all you have to do is just delete the frame, and then it won't come up. You'll also have to go into reg frame here and delete the button. It'll look a bit weird, but you can move the buttons how you like. So if you want to do that, all you do is go down to Starter GUI, add a screen GUI, and then you can drag the frame into that. Drag this frame into that, and you'll be able to view the frame. Make sure you click this here, visible. Make sure that's true for when you do it. But when you put it back, it needs to be non-visible, because otherwise it'll cause problems. Okay, let's go into customizing the individual parts. Actually no, I'll save that thought for later. Right. Okay, so this here is the low rank button, ordinary rank. You go click on this local script. Okay, so what you're going to do is, if you want to change the uniform, you just go to here, and you need to put a new rig in. So we'll just build a block rig, and we'll add a shirt, and we'll add some pants, and we'll add body colors. Why not? Actually, we don't need body colors. It's a waste of time. Okay. So if you want to change what kind of shirt it is, there's something called there's a clothing ID, which is one thing, and then there's an asset ID, which is a different thing. And what the asset ID does is it unwraps unwraps the shirt from the character, and then places it onto a template, right? And unless you use the asset ID, it won't work. So what you need to do to get the asset ID is you click on anything you might want. So I'll use the Armored Division's PT uniform. Okay, so if you see here, while it loads, if you see here, what it'll do basically is this will show it as a character like that, and then so you're going to take the asset, the group, you take the catalog ID, copy that, go to the clothing here, paste it in, and this will change the value to the clothing ID. I'll just make the human root part invisible. Okay, so it'll change the asset to the clothing from the catalog ID to the asset ID, and this is the ID that you have to use in the script. So if you want to view it, you just paste it into this like this, and it'll show you it in the unwrapped form. Wait for it to load. There, see? So this is what you see when it gets pasted onto the character. So we're going to take that asset ID from here. You don't need to copy the whole link, just the ID, because my script does it for you. So if we'll just go up to the shirt giver, you see it's called, I've got this function called start link. If you want to have it so it isn't, then what you need to do is delete all of this and just put shirt ID, all lowercase. But it's way easier if you do it like this. Okay, so yeah, so we paste that into here, and that will, instead of giving you the uniform that I've got, it'll put your custom uniform in. So that's how you customize these shirts. And then I'll show you how to customize the hats quickly, and then after that's done, I'll show you how to remove the group log. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to get, actually, you know what, let's make one. Why not? Actually, yeah, this might backfire. You know, why not? It'll be a laugh. So we're just going to make this tall red hat for someone to wear. That's a bit too large. Let's use a dummy for reference. Oh dear. Let's sort this. 2, 1. There we go. Just trying to make things a bit too complicated for myself. That's too large now. Change this to 0.5. Okay, right. Now what we're going to do is, let's just lower that. This is very basic. You can do it like this if you want to, but you most certainly don't have to. I'm not the greatest modeler. Okay, so we're going to make this black, and then we're going to add a new part. Okay, so quick note: everything that you do for this, any customization, has to have a part called middle. Okay, because otherwise it won't be able to weld itself to the character's head. So we if you just make the part the right size, the same size as the head. Where's this rig going? If you just make the part the same size as the character's head, then you shouldn't go too far wrong. Either that or make it very, very small, but in the center where the head would be. Just import my avatar. Ah, there we go. Just a bit of lag. I say a bit of lag, a massive lag, but that's not important. My computer operating capabilities is not what this video is about. Okay, so that's 1.1 there. 1 by 1 by 1, sorry, I mean. And so if we put it like this, we're just gonna, and we can delete the dummy now because we know it's in the right place. If you want it, it doesn't have to be 1 by 1 by 1, by the way. It can be a different size. So mine's 0.9 by 0.9 by 0.9. Okay, so we're going to make this transparent. I'm going to group this. It has to be called cap, okay? C-A-P, capital C. And there has to be a part called middle, otherwise it won't work. Okay, happy with that. Now, what we're going to do is, so what we're at the moment, we're customizing the para's hat, okay? So we're going to go to local script, we're going to read this part here, and this is telling us to go to number 8 caps, number 8 berets, and then into the paras folder. Okay, so everything has a folder, and every single hat in my giver is called cap, but we use folders to navigate, and that way I find it easier to understand. Okay, so we're going to delete this cap here. Actually, we'll just put it in server storage so I can come back to it if I need to. Okay, so let's give it a test. It might not work because I'm not a hat modeler, but if it does work, great. If it doesn't, I'll try again and show you. Let me just wait for my ancient computer to start up. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to go over to this giver. See, this is I've accidentally left the paras frame visible. That's what will happen if you do that. We can get around it. There we go. See? And it's got my strange looking top hat that I've built. And yeah, so that's how you customize the caps. It's very flattering. No, we'll stop. Also, if you want to have it so it doesn't remove the character's hats, so like if you want hair, you can go to this script here, hat giver, and where is it? Just delete this function here, and then it'll work. And then you'll also need to delete this part here. So you'll need to, if you want to have it so it keeps players' hats on, you need to remove line 29, and you need to remove lines 5 through 12. Okay, 29 and 5 through 12. We'll delete that. I'm going to go back and put my Paris beret in because I hate the top hat that I made. Okay. Right. Let's also quickly fix the problem with the Paris frame. Needs to make visible false. Okay. The only thing that should be visible is this frame here. Right. Finally, we will do how to make it group locked or ungroup locked. If you want this to be, actually no, I'm not going to use this as an example. I'm going to use the no regiment one as an example because it's easier to understand. Okay, so we'll just say, let's do the warrant officer cap. And instead of, if you want to have it so it's not group locked at all, so anyone can get it, all you need to do is delete line 17 and line 14 only. Okay, just like that, and that'll fix it. Happy with that. If you want to make it so a certain, so say you own another British army or any army, but I'd be a bit confused if you're using British caps for an American army. Who am I to judge? All you do is you select this, head to the groups page, and then you head to, so you get this, go to here, select this value here, copy it, paste it in. Okay, so this line here called get ranking group, basically that means that every rank in a group, every role has an ID, and so you can stop people from getting things or allow people to get things based on what ID their role is. So for here, this means greater than or equal to. If you want it to be greater than, it won't include 9. If you want it to be greater than or equal to, it will include 9. So this is 9 upwards. This is 10 upwards. Okay, and then vice versa with less than. So this is 9 and downwards, and this is 8 and downwards. Okay, so below 9 and below. Okay, it's quite important that you get that right. If you want it to be only 9, then you need to put 2 equals signs. This is identically equal to, this means. Okay, so it's the same as a 3-line equals. That's the wrong. There we go. And so the groups that I'm doing could have slightly different rank IDs to yours. So all you need to do is go to configure group, and then you head to roles, and then we'll scroll down. So this cap is for warrant officers. So the warrant officer 1 will change. So the rank ID is 9. See that? See, in this group we've got a bunch of different IDs, 20, 22, and all you need to do is you find the rank ID. So it's 9 for warrant officer. Change that to whatever it is in your group, and then that will work for that. So this means here, this line is saying that if a player is in this group and their rank in that group is greater than 9, then they can get the hat. Okay, so if you're lower than 9 or you're not in the group, it'll skip this number. It'll skip this line here. Just won't happen. Yeah, so that is how you customize the no regiment frame. I'll go into the regiment frames a little bit because they're slightly different. So let's use Paras again. So local scripts, and it's the same principle, but sometimes it has get rank, sometimes it has is in group. Is in group is basically a less complicated version of get rank, because it just, sometimes it's better to be simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and find the Paras group. Here we go, parachute regiment. We'll click on up on here. If you have regiments in your, if you have sub regiments, like, what am I trying to say? If you have groups for your regiments, then you can do this. If you don't have groups for your regiment, just delete line 24 and line 20. Okay, so anyone can get it. If you don't want it to be logged, do the same. Just delete line 20 and line 24. And I'm pretty sure the line is the same for all of the scripts. Yeah, it is. Okay, so if you do want to group lock it, this is what you do. You go to your regiment page, select the ID, copy it, paste it, done. Now it'll work. It'll only allow someone who's in that group to select it. Otherwise, like before, it'll skip this. So it'll go straight from line 19 straight down to line 25. This here is called a debounce, and basically what that does is it stops people creating lag on the server. So it's very easy to create lag with GUIs because you can just spam click on stuff, and this is what the debounce does. It stops you from being able to spam. So if debounce is false, then you can do it, but then it instantly triggers debounce to true. So you can't. So it's what's called a conditional structure. And so if this condition is false, then if this condition is true, then it won't work, because see, we have db identically equal to false. Right. One final thing is, I think in the RGG hats and maybe the RGR hats as well, we have this get ranking group over greater than or equal to 11, but you'll see here that this is the ID of my main army group. So you need to make this the ID of the main army. You don't need to worry about other regiments coming across, because the button stops them from doing that. You can't get onto this frame unless you are in the regiment group. However, to give hats, because the hats are based on army ranks and not Grenadier Guards ranks, then you need to link it back to the army, okay? And so that's very simple. All you have to do is do the same thing as the no reg, okay? So you go to your army group. Here we go, HM's British Army. Select the ID here. Copy that, paste it into here, and then go into the configure group page. Scroll down to rules and find the corresponding rank. So for here, it's second lieutenant. Copy that, paste it in there. Simple as that. Now it'll work especially. So we go to play here, and so this system will work for the 8, 8A and 13 givers. So 8 is combats, 8A is parade, physical training, and 13 is barrack dress, which is like casual, just like office wear. Paras, see, and that works. Ta-da! Now I'll quickly go over these two because they're a little bit more complicated. They use two different systems. So they use this proximity prompt here, which gives me my uniform only, and they use this, which gives me a hat only. Okay, so all of the systems for the hat is exactly the same. You can just scroll back to a previous part of this video to find out how to do it. But for the clothes givers, it's a bit more complex. So we're going to select number 2 formals. We're going to go down to this bit here, numbered clothes rack number 2, and then we'll go on to the giver part. This part has a script and a proximity prompt. The proximity prompt basically means when a player is within the max activation distance, it will put the proximity prompt up for you. So for me it's 10, which means it's 10 studs. So if I just get a part to demonstrate this, cylinder, we will rotate it so it's the right angle, and then size 10 by 10. So anyone inside this cylinder here will be able to view the proximity prompt. If I was you, I've made it a little bit small, so I'd make it a bit bigger, maybe 20. Yeah, and you can use this use this to demonstrate it for yourself if you're a bit unsure of what 20 studs actually looks like, because it's quite a confusing measurement. So here we go, 20 studs. So anyone within this red circle would be able to see the proximity prompt. Okay, and so all you need to do to change that value is click on the proximity prompt, go to this value here, max activation distance, and change that. Okay, you can also change the keyboard code. So for me it's E, but all you need to do is click on this and then click a key on your keyboard. So like there, I clicked on H, E, backspace, anything, whatever you want. Now we go to the script. We can close this now. That's done. Right. So what this one does is it searches through the group ranks to see which rank you are. So for my army, we have four uniforms types for number 2. We have the low rank uniform, which is recruit corporal. We have the sergeant sash uniform, which is just the same as the recruit with a red sash, and that's sergeant to warrant officer 2nd class. And then we have the officer pattern uniform, which is warrant officer 1st class to lieutenant colonel. And so that instead of red sash and the white belt, it has some brown belt. And then for Colonel Plus, so Colonel all the way up to the King, we have another HR uniform which just has red gorget patches on the collar. And so what you need to do to change this is you, like with the other ones, you go to your group page, you select this value here, you copy that, and then you need to change each of these functions here. So you need to change that, 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 you need to change that. You need to change that, and you need to change that. Sorry, my headset just turned off there. Just make sure I'm still recording. Yeah, okay, we're good. Right. And so, yeah, so once you've done all of this, once you've put your group ID into every single one of these, you need to do this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. There's 7 in total. Then you go back into your configure group, and you need to decide what ranks you want to have what uniform. So this one here is the low rank. Let's just call that low rank pattern. This one is the sergeant pattern. This one is the officer pattern. And this one down here is the high rank pattern. Okay. So if you want, say you want to have recruit up to sergeant with the low rank pattern, all you do is go to your roles, like before. So whatever you want to be the lowest one, you need to do greater than or equal to. And then whatever you want to be the highest one, you need to do less than or equal to. And it's very important that you use this and, because so what it'll do is, like, if you're bigger than 1 and less than 5, then it'll do that. And so if you're not that, it'll move on to the next section. If you're bigger than 6 and smaller than 8, and if you're not that, it'll move on to the next section. If you're bigger than 7, why is that different then? Perhaps the role IDs have changed. Okay, so if you're bigger than 9 and less than 16, then it'll put you in there. If not, it'll skip you again. And so if you're greater than 17, then it'll give you that uniform. If you're none of those things, it won't give you anything. Quite simple, very easy to understand. Okay, so now all you need to do, like before, find the number. So there's 17 for Colonel. Put it in here, 17, and then it's good to go. So I'll show you how this works now. So because I am very high rank in this, I'm the Chief of General Staff, which is, I believe, well up there. So third in command, 31. I will be given the officer pattern when I touch this, the high rank pattern, sorry, when I touch this. See? There we go. And I'll quickly remove my hats just to show you. Oh, why didn't that work? It's just... Why didn't that work? Is there a lag or... There we go. I'm not sure why I'm getting so much lag, but not important. Not important to you anyway. Okay, so that's that really. If you have any questions at all about what I've shown you today, please can you direct message me on Discord. I find that much easier than talking over the YouTube comments, just because my way of communicating with people is to actually talk to them. I find it much easier to explain. But if you don't have Discord, that's absolutely fine. Drop a comment, and I will do my best to help you with that. Apart from that, I think we're done. If you want to see more of this kind of content, so please subscribe and like this video. Remember to always drop suggestions in the comments, because I do read all of them, and try and do anything that I can to help. If you'd like to use this kind of stuff inside the army that I developed for, then join Bolton Minion 1990s British Army. I'll put a link in the description so you can find that nice and easily. There is one thing that I forgot to mention, and that's that this 13 dress has a #1 giver, and I forgot to take it out basically. So just make sure you remove that so you don't get people getting the wrong uniform by accident. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that I've answered all your questions. If I haven't, direct message me, as I've said. That's it.